Hi, my name is Rick Lisek, and I own and operate Branson Guided Fishing Trips here in Table Rock Lake in southern Missouri. I'm here with talk to you a little bit about a unique swimbait head that I've worked with Bait Wrx here in Springfield that's exclusive just to them. You can only buy it here at Bait Wrx. It's pretty awesome. I've been working with them the last month and a half to develop this head specifically for swim baits, grubs. It's a head that you can use, and it's a versatile head that you can use on a variety of things, from the Alabama rig to a single swim bait. I'm even put a Cinco on the 3/16 and used it as kind of a shaky head on open gravel banks. It comes in 3 sizes. 3/16, 5/16, and 7/16, and they've got a weedless version as well as a non-weedless version. So for those who want to fish open water and don't care about having a weed guard, you can use the non-weedless version. And then those who want a weed guard, they've got it in a weedless version. So what's unique about this bait is it's got a custom hook in it. It's a 2/0. It's not a light wire, it's not a heavier wire, it's more of a medium wire that's kind of the best all-around hook in my opinion. It's got a 60-degree flat eye, which helps the bait come through timber and brush and stuff like that real easy. It's a bait that honestly, you know, I've had it out with customers the last month and it just doesn't get hung. You know, we've had to do some tweaks here and there, but now I feel it's pretty perfect. As far as the keeper on the bait, you know, a lot of the problem that I've always complained about for years is you have to super glue your bait up on the head of the swim bait jig head, and with this bait you don't. They've designed a keeper on here that once you get that bait on there, you can pull, and it does not come off. So for instance, we're using Kitech swim baits for the most part on these things, and soft Yamamoto grubs, 4 and 5 inch grubs, and you can catch 6, 8, 10 fish on a swim bait, and it's not that the jig head doesn't hold the bait on there. It's just you catch so many fish that the plastic tears and you end up having to change your bait. So the need for super glue is over. You don't need that anymore. This keeper is just unbelievable how it gets on there and it locks the bait. I mean, you can see I'm pulling that bait and it does not come off. I mean, and I'm pulling hard. I'm putting a lot of pressure on that bait. On the 3/16, let's talk about sizes for a little bit. So let's use an Alabama rig for an example. So a lot of the problem with Alabama rigs is some have thin clasp wire on them, some have heavy, and you can't get the snap on the head of the bait or the jig head. So with this hook, it'll fit on every one of them. I've tried it on thin and I've tried it on thick snaps on those A-rigs, and it'll fit on there real good and it'll wiggle good, so it's not locked tight to where your bait has a natural action. I'm using, when the fish were real deep, you know, catching those fish in 35 to 40, 45, 50 foot, you can use an A-rig with a 7/16 jig head. Then if you want the fish move shallower, you can move up and you can go to the 5/16. That's about the lightest I've gone. When they move real shallow and they're not there yet, but they're getting close, when you're fishing that A-rig in 2 to 20 foot of water, I would go to the 3/16 ounce head. As far as line and stuff that we're using on the A-rig, you know, I use 2 different types. I use 65-pound braid when I'm fishing trees, and when I'm fishing open water, I fish 20-pound test. And I've had no trouble setting the hook on these fish. When you do hook the fish, you know, you get a lot of jig heads that the bait tends to roll and you'll hook one in the corner of the lip or he's skin hooked. Not the case with this jig head. When a fish bites, he's hooked right in the top lip or in the roof of the mouth, which is where you want them hooked. They don't come off that way. Doesn't matter how high they jump or roll or pull, you know, they won't come off. As far as a single swim bait, you know, most of the time when the fish are deep, I'll use a 5/16, which is what they've developed. But most of the time I use a 3/16, and I throw it on, have my customers throw it on 10-pound braid with an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader, and again, they're hooked every time. If you don't even have to whine or to jerk, all you got to do is whine just a steady retrieve. When the fish bites, just whine faster. You don't have to set the hook. They're hooked every time right in the roof of the mouth. So that's what makes these baits perfect. this head design, you know, I'll talk a little bit about, and they've got some things coming out for you guys who like to throw a Ned rig and stuff like that, a shaky head. I've taken this bait, you know, and even put a Cinco on it and fished out to 20, 25 foot with the 5/16, you know, and caught them on it the last couple weeks with just a 6-inch green pumpkin Cinco. So Bait Wrx is in the process of developing and modifying this head so you can use it as a Ned rig or a shaky head. Some of the unique features is going to be a flat spot on the back of the head to where it stands up. So when the bait's in the water, the bait's actually going to stand up like this, which is what you want. It looks like a crawfish or a natural imitation of whatever bait you're trying to imply. So that's something that's going to be coming out here in the next month or so that you'll want to stop and pick up. But you know, swim bait season is here, A-rig season is here. Get up to Bait Wrx and get you some of these 3/16, 5/16, 7/16 ounce swim bait heads. I promise you won't be disappointed. You know, the good thing about this weedless head, and I don't know if they want me saying too much about it, but it doesn't get hung up. I've fished for days and days and days with customers who don't fish a lot, who fish timber, and the bait comes through timber and brush piles like no other head that I've used. So get up to Bait Wrx, get you some of these things. You won't be disappointed.